And our next post is by user Prototopan, titled, "Am I the a-hole for saying no to my wife joining a gaming session with my friends?" So for background, my wife hates video games. Her hobbies are reading, crafts, writing, etc. I really enjoy video games and making games, etc. During the pandemic, I've gotten back in touch with friends from high school, and we have gaming nights twice a week. My wife, on the other hand, does not have any friends and is pretty sad about it. Sometimes we have arguments about her being jealous of my hangouts with my friends. I do make time for her, and we do have date nights at home, etc. Well, my wife asked me yesterday if she could join in with my friends this week. This came way out of left field. Like I said, my wife has never really played any video games at all, and we really don't play beginner-friendly games. She knows this, and I asked her why she wanted to join, and she said she's so lonely and just wants to be around people. She begged me to ask my friends if it would be okay, so I did. Well, none of my friends were fans of the idea. None of them have girlfriends and there are no women in the group, and we've all known each other since high school. Many of them have never even met my wife. The idea made them uncomfortable. I told my wife this and she cried. She told me she's so tired of having no one to talk to and hearing my camaraderie with her friends, and then hearing my camaraderie with my friends, and she just wants something like that. She's tried joining virtual classes and things, but it's hard to make friends out of the blue during a pandemic. I know what it's like to be lonely, and I empathize, but I don't think this was a solution. She asked me to ask my friends again, and I said no. Am I the a-hole for this? My God. You told your wife this and she cried. She's crying to you that she's not socializing enough, and you slap her down like this, you don't care. That kind of tells me that you're a bit heartless in this situation, and you've not even tried to bridge the gap with your friends and find a solution that works where her social needs are being met. Yeah, it's hard to make friends out of the blue during a pandemic, but it's much easier to make friends when you have a friend that can bridge the gap and introduce you to their own group. Just because these guys don't have girlfriends and they're uncomfortable with the idea, it doesn't mean that you can't try and nudge them into being cool with it and get some social interaction going. Get them to accept this situation, I don't know. I would do this for the sake of your wife's mental and emotional health. And by you refusing to help in this situation and not trying to help in any other situations to make her feel better, make her healthier as a person, it shows that you really lack empathy and you actually don't care. You say you do empathize and you don't think this was a solution, yet you've offered no other solutions, and you've not tried to fix it in this case, which seems to be the easiest solution for the meantime. You do seem to be the a-hole for this one, and I feel bad for your wife. You're the a-hole. Now in the comments, For Yelsa says, "Yeah dude, you're the a-hole. If your wife is so lonely she's crying in your face about it, and all she wants to do is have people to hang out with, you should try to include her on crap you're doing. She doesn't have to play with you guys every time, but damn, not even once? Knowing she's sad as crap and lonely, how are you supporting her during this time? If your friends didn't want to play with her when you asked, then you should have been like, alright fellas, well I'm gonna play with the wifey tonight, so I'll catch you later. She's never played before, but maybe she'll like it. If it's an online game, you can show her how to find groups and get her started. Maybe this is a new hobby you two can bond over. But to just be like, nah, my friend said no, is some of the lamest crap ever. Maybe you should reconsider your priorities. This is coming from a person who plays with a group of friends and whose gamer buddy just recently started including his girlfriend. It's really not that big of a deal if she wants to play every now and then. I can't imagine my partner crying from loneliness and my response being, well, I need to keep the gaming club a no-girls zone or my friends will be sad. That's not how adults function. Also, looking at OP's older posts about his partner, and yeah, she'd be better off without him. You're the a-hole. Very soft, you're the a-hole. Your wife comes before video games night with old friends, regardless of if it's fun to relive the nostalgia from when we were all 11 years old. I'll add she's literally crying out to you for help. People have committed suicide for loneliness. It can fester and eat away at a person. Don't be one of the many out there that wished they could do things differently. At the very least, if it was me, I would reduce my 2 per week to 1 per week and spend that extra evening out with the wife outside our comfort zones trying to make friends. Meetup.com is a great app for meeting others hiking, biking, walking, kayaking, etc. Many states have opened the vaccines up to all if that's a concern too. Hold her hand and help her. She needs you now, bud. Wife always comes before friends. Again, this is a pretty soft "you're the a-hole." Edit, upon seeing how he speaks about his wife from a year ago's post, and seeing his comments on here, this guy is a massive a-hole. Wife will be much better off once she leaves his ass. Our next post is by user MuchSignificance157, titled, "Am I the a-hole for refusing to attend my twin brother's wedding?" So I, 21 male, first started dating my now ex-girlfriend, 21 female, when we were both 16. However, we made the decision to break up before heading off to college when we were 18. I decided to go a few hours away, while she decided to stay local. Also note that my girlfriend was very close with my family, so this was hard on my family as well. When returning home from my first year of college, my brother surprised me with the news that he had been dating a girl for over 6 months now. The only problem was that it was my ex-girlfriend. I was obviously ticked, and my brother understood, but made it clear he had no intention of breaking up with her. Eventually, we came to the agreement that we would continue our relationship if he never mentioned her to me or made us interact. He happily agreed to these terms. However, recently my brother surprised me with the news that the two of them are now engaged, and he wants me to be his best man. I told him absolutely not. He and I agreed from the beginning that I would not have to attend any event where my ex would be there. My whole family is calling me selfish and telling me I can suck it up for one night, but I don't feel comfortable being the best man at my ex's wedding. Am I the a-hole for refusing to go to the wedding and be his best man? And edit for clarification, yes, we are identical twins. I'm going no a-holes here. I get and I respect that you don't want to see her again, but sometimes forgiveness and moving on is what you have to do. He doesn't suck for wanting to try and bridge that gap in this relationship with his wife. And you don't suck for wanting to keep that boundary there, but I really feel like you're the one with a bigger problem here. You kind of are setting yourself on fire just to not have to interact with one person that did you wrong as a teenager. But it looks like, from your post, the breakup was amicable, and if she did something wrong, you've not given me any reason to hate her. It just says that you decided to date when you were 16, you were together for 2 years, and then you amicably broke it off when you were 18. That's a normal relationship, and you're not giving us enough details to be on your side for this one. You're more than welcome to hold a grudge for the rest of your life, but for what? Why? That just seems to me like a worthless use of energy, and it's just going to be to your detriment in the long run, and to your family's detriment. No a-holes here, do what you want, man. Now in the comments, Blue Heron says, "Not the a-hole. Those were your terms, he agreed to them, end of story." Because life is black and white and there's no nuance to anything ever. OP, who cares who was the a-hole here? It's done. She is going to be your sister-in-law. You've got to get that right with you. Go have an honest conversation with your brother. A person's personal boundaries are black and white. They are also fixed in place, and in this case, they aren't absurd or crazy when this girl became so attached to OP's family that after over a year of dating OP, she started dating his identical twin. That's fine for her and the brother, but it's not fine for OP, and that's okay. If this is the hill he wants to die on, more power to him as long as he knows that his relationship with his family may suffer. His family doesn't respect his boundaries. They see her as a surrogate daughter, and OP sees her as an ex from a very formative time in his life that they want to force him to be around for forever, and the family doesn't get it. So it's up to each individual to do what they feel comfortable doing here. I don't think boundaries are fixed in place, nor black and white. I think boundaries grow, change, appear, and disappear, and change color as we mature and gain more experience in life. They also change depending on the person and how they've changed over time also. Hard boundaries that I had at 18 were laughable to me at 30. Some boundaries I have now that I'm in my 40s haven't even crossed my mind in my 30s. A few people that I used to be so close with in my 30s have changed enough that I've cut them off completely. Given how very young they all were when the OP and ex broke up, it seems immature not to revisit the situation and reassess the boundaries. All three of them have changed dramatically in the past 3 years as they have matured and grown in life experiences, and what seemed so life-changing at 18 probably really isn't anymore. Is the OP going to always hold an eternal flame for his high school sweetheart, never get married nor move on, pining for the day when the ex leaves his twin and returns based only on a relationship that only lasted 2 years when they were still in high school? It feels like more of a grudge than a boundary at this point. That being said, I agree with everything else you've said. If the OP still feels this strongly, of course he's welcome to hold the line. But he also needs to realize that the consequence is he's going to be separating himself from the family more and more. Of course he can want to die on this hill, but it'll be cold comfort when he's 40, married with 3 kids, and still not invited to family holidays, weddings, school events, and graduations. No a-holes here, because you have every right to not go to your brother's wedding, but you know that you're basically sacrificing your family for the rest of your life. For a girl that you dated as a teenager, you guys didn't work out, and after you broke up, she and your brother realized they were more compatible. They have been dating for over 2 years, so it's not like a fling to spite you. But they are going to be married, which means they will be invited as a family to every family event. If they choose to have kids, they will be your nieces and nephews, and your parents' grandkids. The grandkids will definitely be invited to every event. So you need to basically decide if you are willing to say no to every family event in the future and never meet your brother's kids because there's a woman he was more compatible with than you were. Yeah, all of this. Time creates perspective too. When you were young, a 2-year relationship in high school seems huge. I know because I dated someone for 2 years in high school. But then you grow up and you get to a point that it barely registers who you dated in high school. OP may get to a point where the fact that this woman is his ex-girlfriend becomes kind of insignificant, and it's a matter of how much damage he's done to his relationship with his family in the meantime. Look at the timing though. They got together 6 months after OP and the ex broke up, so I think anyone would be pissed at that because it's long enough that they would start actively dating again, but there would probably be residual feelings still there. I'm not saying that what the brother did was right at all, or that the timing of them getting together was right. I'm saying that, in all likelihood, OP will look back at this in another 5 to 10 years and feel indifferent about it. He'll no longer be pissed. I ended on horrible terms with my high school ex, and it's been 8 years or so now. And now I don't even count him when I talk about my past partners because we were kids, and the drama all seems really insignificant now. We're friendly. I see him sometimes when we're both in our hometown, and it's not emotional. OP, you will very likely get to that point eventually as well, but that will be after years of pushing his brother and family away for something that will mean very little to him eventually? Or will that be after some time of being a little uncomfortable doing things, such as being best man in the wedding, but being more comfortable while having increasingly positive experiences with his family? Sorry, but you're the a-hole. You and your ex ended it. Ended it. She ended up dating your brother and now being engaged to him. Deals don't matter at this point. Your brother is marrying this woman. So unless you're prepared to cut off all contact with your family, then you're going to have to come to terms with it. If you loved her, you never should have ended the relationship. You have no claim on her, so grow a pair, suck it up, and be in the wedding. It's generally understood, at least for heterosexual relationships out of small rural areas, that you don't date the exes of close friends or siblings because those situations tend to lead to hurt feelings and drama. Even if they had broken up, the OP isn't wrong for being upset his ex and his twin brother started dating. I do agree with what you're saying. Counterpoint, OP can be upset they started dating, but we are asking if OP is the a-hole for letting that upset from a few years ago permanently affect his relationship with his twin and family going forward. I am really curious what the rest of the family thinks of the arrangement, honestly. I don't really have a vote yet, to be honest, because this is complex. He isn't the a-hole. At the end of the day, it is betrayal. It's a lack of respect for boundaries. OP's brother decided to value a chance at his brother's ex rather than actual family. Maybe you can make an argument if there had been like a few years gap between the events, but seriously, you go for your brother's ex of 2 years, 2 months after they break up? You don't even approach your brother like a decent human being before you make a move, but you date in secret for 6 months, then you spring it on him. You do not only want him at the wedding, but to be your best man after all that crap you put him through? Where the hell is the compassion and empathy for OP? They treated him like crap. He decided to be the bigger person and maintain a relationship with his brother despite all of this, and now they want him to be involved in a celebration of a relationship built on betrayal and lies. Alright guys, that's the end of the video. Friendly reminder that I'm now posting daily on my second channel, Markee 2. If you want to laugh at memes with me, link is down in the description below. On phone, you just click that little arrow underneath the video. I also want to say thank you to all my channel members and Patreon subscribers. Your names are currently floating down the screen here, and I love to see all of you guys. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Thank you for supporting me. I really appreciate it. If you see yourself on screen, I want you to give yourself a big pat on the back for being amazing as always, and thank you for supporting me again. I do hope that you guys have a good day, night, sleep, whatever it is you're up to. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.